Halloween night had always been a time for mischief and thrills, but this year our adventure would take a terrifying turn. My name is Tom, and along with my friends Mike, Sarah, and Jessica, we decided to explore the abandoned Brookside Asylum, a place with a sinister reputation. Its dark history of cruel treatments and horrifying experiments on patients made it the perfect place for a Halloween night scare, or so we thought. It all started when Mike came up with the idea during one of our regular Friday night hangouts. We were sitting in Mike's basement eating pizza and watching horror movies when he suddenly suggested it. "Hey guys, have you heard about the old Brookside Asylum? It's supposed to be haunted," Mike said, his eyes gleaming with excitement. Sarah rolled her eyes. "Mike, are you seriously suggesting we go there on Halloween night? That place is dangerous." Jessica, always up for an adventure, leaned forward. "Come on, Sarah, it could be fun. Besides, it's just a building. What's the worst that could happen?" I hesitated, but the thrill of exploring a haunted asylum was too tempting. "All right, I'm in. But we need to be careful. We don't know what we might find in there." With the plan set, we agreed to meet at the asylum at midnight, armed with flashlights, cameras, and a sense of adventure. As midnight approached, we gathered at the entrance of Brookside Asylum. The building loomed before us, its windows shattered and walls covered in graffiti. The moon cast an eerie glow on the decaying structure, and a chill ran down my spine. "Are we really doing this?" Sarah asked, her voice trembling. Mike nodded, a determined look on his face. "Yeah, we're doing this. Let's go." We pushed open the rusty gate and made our way inside. The air was thick with the scent of mildew and decay. The hallway was dark, and our flashlights barely cut through the blackness. We moved cautiously, the floorboards creaking under our feet. As we explored the asylum, we came across old patient records scattered on the floor. The files detailed horrifying treatments, electroshock therapy, lobotomies, and other cruel experiments. Sarah picked up a file and read it aloud, her voice shaking. "This patient was subjected to experimental drug treatments that caused severe hallucinations and psychotic episodes. They were left in solitary confinement for days on end." Jessica shuddered. "This place is a nightmare. How could they do this to people?" We continued our exploration, finding eerie drawings on the walls. The images depicted tormented faces, dark shadows, and scenes of suffering. It was clear that the patients had been through unimaginable horrors. Suddenly, we heard a scream echoing through the hallways. We froze, our hearts pounding. "Did you hear that?" Mike whispered. We nodded, too terrified to speak. The scream was followed by the sound of footsteps slowly approaching. We huddled together, our flashlights flickering. As we moved deeper into the asylum, the temperature dropped, and we could see our breath in the air. We felt an unsettling presence, as if we were being watched. Shadows danced on the walls, and whispers filled the air. Sarah clutched my arm. "Tom, something's not right. We need to get out of here." But it was too late. The spirits of the patients had awakened, and they were not happy. We saw ghostly figures moving through the halls, their faces twisted in anguish. Cold spots appeared out of nowhere, and we felt invisible hands brush against us. Mike tried to stay calm. "We need to stick together and find a way out. Don't panic." But panic was already setting in. Jessica screamed as a shadowy figure reached out to her, and we all ran in different directions, trying to escape the vengeful spirits. Mike ended up in a room filled with old medical equipment. As he caught his breath, he noticed a shadowy figure standing in the corner. The figure stepped forward, revealing a ghostly patient with hollow eyes and a tortured expression. "Why did you come here?" the spirit asked, its voice filled with pain. "We suffered here. We died here." Mike backed away, his heart racing. "I'm sorry. We didn't mean to disturb you." The spirit reached out, and Mike felt a cold hand grip his arm. "You must leave. This place is cursed." Mike nodded, trying to break free. "We'll leave. I promise." The spirit released him, and Mike ran out of the room, desperate to find the rest of us. Sarah found herself in a room that had once been used for solitary confinement. The walls were covered in scratch marks, and the air was thick with despair. She heard a voice whispering her name, and she turned to see a ghostly figure of a woman in a tattered hospital gown. The woman's eyes were filled with sorrow. "Help us, they won't let us rest." Sarah felt a surge of sympathy. "How can I help you?" The spirit pointed to a door at the end of the hallway. "The doctor, he holds us here. You must confront him." Sarah nodded, determined to find us and confront the doctor. She ran out of the room, her heart pounding with fear and determination. Jessica stumbled into what appeared to be an old operating room. The sight of bloodstained tools and rusted equipment made her stomach turn. She heard the sound of sobbing and saw a ghostly figure of a child huddled in the corner. The child looked up, tears streaming down his face. "They hurt me. They hurt us all." Jessica knelt down, trying to comfort the child. "I'm so sorry. We shouldn't have come here." The child pointed to a file cabinet in the corner. "The truth, it's in there." Jessica opened the cabinet and found a folder filled with documents detailing the experiments conducted by the asylum's head doctor. She realized that the spirits were trapped because of the doctor's cruel actions. She took the folder and ran out, determined to find us and reveal the truth. I found myself in the asylum's library, surrounded by dusty books and old records. As I searched for any clues, I felt a cold breeze and saw a ghostly figure of an old man standing by the window. The man looked at me with sad eyes. "You're not like the others. You want to help?" I nodded, feeling a strange connection to the spirit. "Yes, we want to help. How can we set you free?" The spirit pointed to a journal on the desk. "The doctor, you must confront him. Only then will we find peace." I took the journal and ran out, determined to find my friends and confront the doctor. We finally found each other in the main hallway, each of us shaken by our encounters. We shared what we had learned and realized that we had to confront the asylum's head doctor to set the spirits free. "He's in the basement," Jessica said, holding up the folder. That's where he conducted his experiments. With a sense of dread, we made our way to the basement. The air grew colder, and the shadows seemed to move on their own. We found the door to the doctor's lab and pushed it open. The basement was filled with old medical equipment and disturbing drawings on the walls. In the center of the room stood the spirit of the head doctor, his eyes filled with madness. "You dare enter my domain," he hissed, his voice echoing through the room. "You will join my patients in eternal torment." We stood our ground, determined to set the spirits free. "We're here to end this," Mike said, his voice steady. "You can't hurt anyone anymore." The doctor laughed, a chilling sound that sent shivers down our spines. "You think you can stop me? You are nothing compared to the power I wield." The doctor's spirit lashed out, sending waves of cold energy toward us. We dodged and fought back, using the knowledge we had gained from the spirits. Sarah recited a prayer she had found in one of the patient records, while Jessica held up the folder with the truth about the experiments. The doctor's spirit weakened, but he fought back with a vengeance. Shadows swirled around us, and we felt his icy grip trying to pull us into the darkness. We fought with all our strength, determined to end his reign of terror. In a final act of defiance, we combined our efforts. I held up the journal, reading aloud the names of the patients who had suffered under the doctor's cruelty. The spirits of the patients appeared, their faces filled with anger and sorrow. They surrounded the doctor's spirit, pulling him into the darkness. "Leave this place," the spirits cried. "You are no longer welcome here." With a final scream, the doctor's spirit was banished, and the asylum fell silent. The air grew warmer, and we felt a sense of peace wash over us. We made our way out of the asylum, our hearts heavy with the knowledge of what had happened there. The spirits were finally at rest, and the asylum's dark history had been revealed. As we stood outside, watching the first light of dawn break over the horizon, we knew that we would never forget this night. We had faced our fears and uncovered the truth, and we had survived. In the days that followed, we shared our story with the authorities, and the asylum was sealed off for good. We knew that the spirits were finally at peace, and we hoped that their suffering would never be forgotten. For us, Halloween would never be the same. We had ventured into the darkness and come out the other side, forever changed by the experience. And while the memories of that night would haunt us, we took comfort in knowing that we had done the right thing. As for me, Tom, I knew that I would always carry a piece of that night with me. It had tested our courage and our friendship, and it had shown us the true meaning of bravery. We had faced the darkness together, and we had emerged stronger for it. And so our adventure at Brookside Asylum became a story we would tell for years to come, a tale of courage, friendship, and the enduring power of the human spirit.